Alright, and a very good evening to all my viewers. It's Sunday, September 25th, 2022. It is exactly 1:08, actually 1:09 a.m. And we're here at Henri-Bourassa Metro Station, taking the last metro train of the night towards Côte-Vertu. And I'll be getting off at Lionel-Groulx. So enjoy the ride. And it's rare that I take the last train on this line, especially here from Henri-Bourassa. I was actually biking around Montreal North tonight, getting some exercise, and I figured, you know what, right back to Henri-Bourassa. I made it just in time for the last train with about 2 minutes to spare. Made it to the platform, and within a minute or two the train was here. So enjoy the ride. Maybe about 17 stops or so.
Station Sauvé.
And we are on set 28 for those that are interested. AZUR Set 28, also known as the MPM series of trains, MPM 10 series.
Prochaine station, Crémazie.
And I'll put a little timestamp on each station so you know where we are in the video. I'll make chapters. One of the cool things I like about YouTube is the ability to put those chapters in the videos. It makes it interesting for viewers that want to jump to a specific point. A little bit bumpy to ride for some reason. A nice slow approach into Sauvé. Probably doing some work in the station, hence why we're slowing down as we approach. Oh yeah, we got, actually that's why, because we're on this service track here. See which AZUR Set is parked here tonight, if we can. On this third track here, this like I said, set of service tracks. There it is coming up now, about 5 to 10 seconds. Another similar area to this is between Viau and P9. Can't see what set it is, we're going a bit too fast. Now we should be pulling into Sauvé, and when we leave Sauvé, when we depart Sauvé, or sorry, Crémazie. When we depart Crémazie station, we'll be back at normal speed. One of my favorite works of art over there in the network. Yeah, so now pulling out of Crémazie, we should be at normal speed.
Prochaine station, Jarry.
Currently it's 1:14 a.m.
Jarry.
So as we get closer to the downtown core, especially seeing this as a Saturday night, could get a bit rowdy. The crowds could get bigger on the train as we get deeper into downtown. Now, seeing that we are on the orange line, it's usually the green line that's busier once it passes through downtown. But we'll see. So just a heads up if it gets a bit noisy. And once we get to Lionel-Groulx, I'll be getting out and probably biking home.
Prochaine station, Jean-Talon. Correspondance avec la ligne.
Sorry about that, I accidentally hit the stop button. Jean-Talon Metro Station, which of course connects to the blue line. It's a transferring station. And if there was no signs in the station, it would definitely be a maze. It is probably the most maze-like station out of them all. Berri-UQAM is relatively simple. Lionel-Groulx is very simple. Lionel-Groulx is like one big room, basically. One giant room with 4 platforms. One of the things about the AZUR trains one of the things the AZUR trains don't have that the MR73s and 63s had was those flashing lights on the last train of the night in the front.
Prochaine station, Rosemont.
Right above the display sign, you had those flashing lights when it was the last train of the night. The AZUR doesn't have that. Now, what the AZUR does do occasionally, not for the last train of the night, but if it's out of service, and I've seen videos of this, the front headlight is actually flashing. So you'll see occasionally the front headlight flashing when the train is out of service. But it doesn't do that during the last train of the night for some reason.
Station Rosemont.
And of course, this is Rosemont Station, not to be confused with Outremont. And I suppose why Mont is in a lot of metro station names is because, of course, we do have Mont-Royal in the middle of the station. And Mont-Royal, Montreal, is actually named after Mont-Royal, Mont-Royal. And that's one of the things that's actually very interesting about this city is the mountain is more of a hill, but Mont-Royal is definitely a centerpiece in the city, not just figuratively speaking. Mont-Royal plays a very important role in the city, and you'll see the cross on top of Mont-Royal as a testimony of that. And of course that cross was placed there, I believe, when Hochelaga, Jacques Cartier came here and founded the city. Of course, it's very important to mention that the natives were here first, much longer than the Europeans.
Station Laurier.
And here's Laurier Metro Station, which is named after, I believe, Sir Wilfrid Laurier, the Prime Minister on the $5 bill, the Canadian $5 bill. So as you can see, it's yeah, we're getting closer now to downtown, so the train's filling up slightly. Mont-Royal Station's probably going to be even more full, which is the next one coming up. Speaking of Mont-Royal, I was just mentioning that. And Mont-Royal Station's on Mont-Royal Boulevard.
Prochaine station, Mont-Royal.
And if you follow Mont-Royal Boulevard north, you will get to Mont-Royal, which is more or less in the center of the city. So when we get to Berri-UQAM, the train's going to stop for a minute or two because it's the last train of the night. So I'll pause the video and I'll resume when the train resumes.
Station Mont-Royal.
That way you won't really feel the effects of time, and you can get right to the point of the train going away from Berri-UQAM departing. Actually, it seems we have more people getting off at Mont-Royal than getting on. Currently 1:21 a.m. So Sherbrooke is
Prochaine
next.
station, Sherbrooke.
So now between Sherbrooke and Berri-UQAM, it's pretty much downhill. Very similar to between Atwater and Lionel-Groulx. There is a hill. And then once we depart Berri-UQAM, we're actually going to be going on a curve. Now we're going in the south direction, and we're going to be moving into the west direction once we get past Berri.
Berri-UQAM.
So now we're going to go downhill. Can't notice it on the metro unless the metro was to come to a dead stop in the tunnel. You wouldn't even know we're going downhill. You could feel it a little bit though if you really focus and pay attention. You can see there's still trains running in the other direction as well, probably at least one more train. So I'll pause the video and I'll resume once we leave the station after a minute or two. Once Bobby waits for the green line trains to catch up. Alright, so after a few minutes we're now leaving again, And it
Prochaine
is
station, Champ de Mars.
Champ de Mars coming up. And it's 1:28 a.m. And here comes the curve. Actually, there's another track set right there, which connects to the green and yellow lines, I believe. Yeah, so we're now in the curve. Interestingly enough, when you're coming from the other direction, they make the announcement that the train's going to slow down in between Champ de Mars and Berri-UQAM. But it doesn't slow down in this direction towards Côte-Vertu.
Station Champ de Mars.
And of course, Champ de Mars is one of two metro stations that service Old Montreal and the Old Port of Montreal. Oh, look at that down there. It's part of the door, or the platform door that leads to the tunnel, the warning sign not to enter.
Prochaine station, Place
Don't know
d'Armes.
how it got all the way there. So Place d'Armes is coming up. That's another metro station that services the Old Port, Old Montreal. And of course the Palais de Congrès, which is the Montreal Convention Center, for lack of a better term.
Station Place d'Armes.
So we're 5 stops away from Lionel-Groulx, and we are heading in the west direction.
Prochaine station, Square-Victoria-OACI.
And of course, Square-Victoria the other week had a flood in it. Not the first time the station flooded. Usually when there's intense rain, it's one of the stations that has flooding. And ironically, a water main broke last year, I believe, also, which flooded the station. So this metro station does not have good luck when it comes to water. Oh, maintenance vehicle, rare catch. Beautiful.
Station Square-Victoria-OACI.
Yeah, we had a maintenance vehicle, and as we just passed in, you may have seen that. I'll definitely make a note of it on my timestamps. An interesting thing, those maintenance vehicles run on diesel fuel, not electricity. And of course the reason being is because they do cut the electrical current at nighttime on the tracks. So diesel is the only way that those machines can be powered.
Prochaine station, Bonaventure.
Of course, Bonaventure is where the terminus Centreville is, or the downtown terminus, where a lot of EXO buses and of course RTL buses are based, or at least are used to get to the South Shore. And of course the 45 is there, the RTL 45 route, one of my favorite routes. Takes you to Panama Terminus, and from Panama you can go other places.
Station Bonaventure.
Yeah, so I take it the last train has passed on the other side, because they do have the employees there making sure that everyone is off of the platforms.
Prochaine station, Lucien-L'Allier.
And of course, Lucien-L'Allier is also the same name of the train station. The EXO commuter train station, which is attached to Lucien-L'Allier. Lucien-L'Allier is notorious for being a very deep metro station, second deepest in the network, but it seems even deeper than Charlevoix, which is the deepest, because there's so many flights of stairs. Charlevoix has 2 sets of escalators, this one I think has 4.
Station Lucien-L'Allier.
So it's more of a psychological feeling of being the deepest in the network. Charlevoix takes the cake for that one. I think it's a couple of meters deeper. This is a train station that a lot of commuters take to get to the Vaudreuil-Hudson line, St. Jerome line, and Candiac line.
Prochaine station, Georges-Vanier.
Of course, I want to mention Bonaventure is also where the central train station is, Gare Central, where via trains go, and also the Mascouche line departs for EXO commuter trains, and that's of course where the Deux Montagnes line, the Two Mountains line used to be, where the MR90s were in service. And that's of course being converted to the REM light rail line, which is progressing, I guess you could say, somewhat smoothly.
Station Georges-Vanier.
A couple of setbacks here and there. We had a maintenance vehicle the other night, I believe, the other week, which came loose and crashed into the Ile des Sœurs, the Nuns Island station. Fortunately, damage was very limited. They're still saying December 1st as the target date for that line to open, at least between Brossard Station and Gare Central.
Prochaine station, Lionel-Groulx.
Georges-Vanier, we just passed that. Not much on that station, but they do have some beautiful art, as fellow YouTuber pointed out. Chal Games. And Chal did make a good note. There's a beautiful work of art right when you get up the stairs, actually right before you get up the stairs, it's a tree and there's actually lights on that tree. I think they're LED lights. And we're now approaching Lionel-Groulx, our destination. If you were to stay on this train till the end, you'd get to Côte-Vertu Metro Station in the Saint Laurent district of Montreal.
Station Lionel-Groulx.
And of course, this is where you can catch the green line. I could take the green line if I wanted to LaSalle, but I'm choosing to bike back, take some exercise. So there's the green line heading towards Angrion in the west direction. And up here would be towards Henri-Bourassa in the east direction. And there's Montmorency platform, that's the direction that we just came from. As you can see, no more trains. We got some maintenance vehicles, well, these ones on the platform here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna wrap her up now. Maybe I'll get lucky as I leave the station, I'll catch a maintenance vehicle. But I think that's pretty much it for Metro service tonight. So anyways, have a good night, everybody. And like I said, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell. And thank you all for watching. More videos to come.